Number 1. Overthinking, the silent thief of inner peace. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, mind racing, heart pounding, as thoughts about the past or future consume every ounce of your energy? That nagging feeling that no matter how much you try to relax, your mind just won't cooperate? Overthinking, that silent thief, is stealing your peace of mind in ways you might not even realize. But what if I told you that the most dangerous thief is not the one who breaks into your home, but the one who invades your thoughts every single day? We all have dreams of a peaceful, prosperous life, yet overthinking keeps us in a constant state of worry, doubt, and stress. If you're 40, 50, or 60 years old, you've seen enough of life to know that peace of mind is a rare and precious commodity. But here's the good news. It's not too late to reclaim it. Act 1. The hidden impact of overthinking. Overthinking is like an invisible weight pressing down on your chest. It's sneaky, creeping into your thoughts during quiet moments, robbing you of your ability to enjoy the present. And if you've ever found yourself replaying a conversation over and over, or stressing about something you can't control, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's exhausting, isn't it? The constant replaying of events, the endless what-ifs, and the hypothetical scenarios that never actually happen. All this mental clutter doesn't just drain your energy. It prevents you from seeing opportunities that are right in front of you. For those of us in our 40s, 50s, or 60s, we've worked hard to build something we can be proud of. Yet overthinking keeps us stuck in a loop of uncertainty, afraid to move forward or embrace the wealth and success we deserve. The very act of overthinking is an enemy to our growth. It paralyzes us and prevents us from making decisions with clarity and confidence. How often do we find ourselves caught in this trap, afraid to take that next step because we're too busy trying to figure out every possible outcome? Act 2. The fear of missed opportunities. Imagine this. You've worked all your life to get to this point. You're at a crossroads, and a significant opportunity is staring you right in the face. It could be a new business venture, a potential investment, or even the chance to retire early and live the life you've dreamed of. But something inside of you pulls you back. That voice in your head that says, "What if it doesn't work?" Or, "What if I'm not ready yet?" These are the symptoms of overthinking, and they're stopping you from seizing the opportunities that are meant to change your life. Fear is a powerful motivator, but it can also be paralyzing. The fear of failure, of making the wrong decision, of losing what you've worked so hard for. These thoughts swirl and multiply in the mind of an overthinker. But here's the kicker. By focusing too much on the potential negative outcomes, you miss the bigger picture. You could be setting yourself up for the greatest opportunity of your life, but only if you allow yourself to act. Fear often disguises itself as caution, but it can quickly turn into a prison. The longer you stay stuck in overthinking, the more opportunities will slip through your fingers. Act 3. The urgency of change. Here's the harsh truth. Overthinking is not just a bad habit. It's a silent destroyer of your future. Time waits for no one, and while you're caught up in endless thoughts, life continues to pass you by. The world doesn't slow down for your hesitation. The market doesn't pause for your uncertainty. That dream life you want, filled with financial freedom and peace of mind, isn't going to happen if you don't take action. But here's the catch. It's never too late to make a change. You don't need to let overthinking dictate your path. The good news is, you can take back control. The key to shifting your mindset is realizing that the only way to free yourself from the grips of overthinking is to make a decision and stick with it. You can't afford to let indecision rob you of your wealth and your happiness any longer. The time to act is now. The moment you decide to let go of those fearful thoughts and embrace the unknown with confidence, you'll unlock the door to the life you've always wanted. Cliffhanger. But how do you stop this cycle of overthinking once and for all? What are the exact steps you need to take to break free from the mental prison you've built around yourself? The answer is simpler than you think. Stay with me as I reveal the crucial strategies to regain your peace and finally live the life you deserve. Transition. Let's begin the journey. In order to end the cycle of overthinking, we need to first understand its roots. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we allow the noise of our thoughts to drown out our inner peace? The answer lies in our mindset and our ability to manage our thoughts. You see, overthinking doesn't just happen overnight. It's a habit we've developed over the years. It's the result of a lifetime of fears, insecurities, and past failures. But just as a bad habit is learned, so too can a good one be formed. And when you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your life. This is where the real power lies. Take the first step: awareness. The first step in overcoming overthinking is awareness. You can't fight an enemy you don't see. Begin by noticing when you start to spiral into those negative thought patterns. When you find yourself caught in a loop of what ifs and I'm not sure if this is the right decision, pause, stop right there, take a deep breath. Acknowledge that this is overthinking. It's a signal that your mind is working overtime, and it's time to step back. Recognizing the moment of overthinking is the first step toward breaking free, but it doesn't stop there. Once you catch yourself, you need to interrupt the pattern. The power of distraction. One powerful way to reset your mind is through distraction. And no, I'm not talking about mindlessly scrolling through social media or binge-watching TV shows. I mean healthy distractions. Things that pull you away from your worries and bring you back to the present moment. Whether it's taking a walk, practicing yoga, or listening to calming music, find something that helps you reset. These simple activities not only help clear your mind, but also boost your mood and energy levels, allowing you to think more clearly when you return to your decisions. The gift of gratitude. Another powerful tool in overcoming overthinking is the practice of gratitude. When we're stuck in a cycle of overthinking, it's easy to focus on everything that's going wrong. But by consciously shifting your focus to what's going right, the small victories, the blessings, the love you have in your life, you change the way your mind works. Gratitude brings you back to the present, reduces anxiety, and allows you to appreciate the journey. You'll start to notice that the more you practice gratitude, the less time you spend worrying about things that haven't happened yet. Conclusion: let peace be your guide. It's time to stop letting overthinking steal your peace. It's time to take back control of your thoughts, your actions, and your future. You've worked hard your entire life, and now it's time to live with intention and clarity. Your wealth, not just in finances, but in peace and happiness, is waiting for you. But the key to unlocking it lies in letting go of unnecessary worry and stepping forward with confidence. The best part? You can start today. So are you ready to break free from the grip of overthinking and begin living a peaceful, wealthy life? Let's make that choice together, right now. Stay tuned because in the next part I'll walk you through even more powerful techniques to help you conquer the thief of inner peace. Number 2. Buddhist wisdom, a path to freedom from mental chaos. Imagine waking up each morning with a calm mind. No rushing thoughts, no nagging worries, just peace and clarity. You're able to move through your day with focus and intention, no longer weighed down by the mental clutter that usually drags you into anxiety and overwhelm. Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds nice, but it's impossible at my age. But what if I told you that Buddhist wisdom, a path that has been practiced for thousands of years, holds the key to achieving this freedom from mental chaos? It's not too late to tap into these powerful teachings. Whether you're 40, 50, or 70 years old, the tools of mindfulness and meditation are accessible, transformative, and will help you reclaim control over your mind. The best part? The journey doesn't have to be complicated, and the results can be life-changing. Act 1. The problem of mental chaos. We've all experienced mental chaos at some point in our lives. At times, it feels like our minds are a storm of thoughts, emotions, and worries that we can't escape from. If you're in your 40s, 50s, or even 60s, perhaps you're facing the pressures of work, family, or financial concerns, and the noise of these responsibilities leaves you feeling constantly overwhelmed. It's as though the mind is racing from one thought to the next without any pause or break. This constant mental noise doesn't just affect our emotional well-being. It has real consequences on our health, relationships, and even our financial decisions. If you've been chasing after wealth, peace, or success for decades, you'll know that none of it is truly satisfying unless your mind is clear enough to appreciate it. And that's where Buddhist wisdom comes in. Buddhism teaches us that much of our suffering is self-created through attachment and our inability to control the constant churn of thoughts and emotions. The first step in breaking free from this mental chaos is to realize that it's not a flaw in you, but a natural state of the human mind. However, you don't have to accept it as your reality forever. Act 2. The teaching of Impermanence Buddhism offers us a powerful antidote to mental chaos, the concept of impermanence. One of the core teachings of Buddhism is that everything in life is impermanent. The thoughts, emotions, and even the challenges you face today will not last forever. The financial worries you're struggling with, the health concerns that nag at you, or even the regrets about past decisions are all temporary. This truth, once fully embraced, can be profoundly freeing. Think about it. If you knew that all of your current worries and stresses would one day dissolve, would you still cling to them so tightly? Probably not. Buddhist wisdom teaches that by understanding impermanence, we can free ourselves from the suffering caused by attachment. When we cling to thoughts or experiences, believing they define us or that they'll last forever, we become trapped in a cycle of suffering. This is where mental chaos begins. We're constantly trying to hold on to something that's already slipping away. By embracing impermanence, we learn to release these attachments, freeing ourselves from unnecessary mental clutter. It's not about ignoring your problems. It's about recognizing that they too will change with time, just as everything else does. Act 3. Mindfulness as the path to clarity. Now, let's talk about mindfulness, the heart of Buddhist practice and the key to navigating through mental chaos. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. In today's world, where we're bombarded with notifications, emails, and the constant pressure to do more, mindfulness offers a sanctuary. It's simple, yet powerful. You don't need to leave your job or move to a monastery to begin practicing mindfulness. All it takes is a commitment to being more aware of your thoughts, feelings, and actions in the present moment. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. In fact, mindfulness teaches us to embrace imperfection. It's not about silencing the mind entirely, but about observing the thoughts that arise without getting swept away by them. When you become more aware of your mind's tendencies, such as the constant cycle of worry or self-criticism, you start to realize that you're not your thoughts. You're the observer, the one who can choose which thoughts to focus on and which ones to let go. Mindfulness gives you the freedom to break the cycle of mental chaos, allowing you to make decisions from a place of clarity and peace. The best part? It only takes a few minutes a day to start seeing the benefits. Cliffhanger. But how do you actually begin practicing mindfulness? How do you cultivate this sense of peace in a world that seems to demand constant attention? The steps are surprisingly simple, and yet the results can be nothing short of transformative. In the next part, I'm going to reveal exactly how you can implement mindfulness into your life, regardless of your busy schedule. Transition. A simple practice for every day. Here's where the real magic happens. The key to mindfulness is consistency. It's not about trying to empty your mind entirely, which, let's be honest, is almost impossible. Instead, mindfulness is about creating space for yourself, even in the midst of chaos. Let's take the example of a simple breathing exercise. Whenever you find yourself spiraling into overthinking, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath in, and exhale slowly. Repeat this a few times, paying full attention to the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. What happens next is truly remarkable. Your mind begins to settle. Thoughts that once felt overwhelming begin to lose their grip. You're no longer consumed by the mental chatter. This is the beginning of mental freedom. The power of meditation. Along with mindfulness, meditation is another key practice within Buddhism that can create profound peace of mind. Meditation may seem daunting to some, especially if you've never tried it before. However, it's not about sitting for hours in silence. It's about dedicating just 10 to 20 minutes each day to quiet your mind and connect with the present. When you meditate, you create a space where you can observe your thoughts without judgment. You learn to detach from them instead of allowing them to control your actions and emotions. And in doing so, you start to build a mental muscle that strengthens your ability to manage stress, anxiety, and mental chaos. Compassionate self-awareness. Another essential aspect of Buddhist wisdom is the practice of self-compassion. Many of us, especially as we get older, can be our own harshest critics. We dwell on our mistakes, beat ourselves up for past decisions, and feel like we're not good enough. Buddhism teaches us that true peace begins with compassionate self-awareness. Instead of criticizing yourself for the times you've failed or fallen short, acknowledge those moments with kindness and understanding. Recognize that you are doing the best you can and that growth comes through mistakes. Embrace yourself with the same love and patience you would offer to a friend. The benefits of Buddhist wisdom, a new path forward. The beauty of Buddhist wisdom is that it doesn't require you to change who you are. Instead, it invites you to return to who you truly are beneath the layers of mental chaos and distraction. It teaches you to embrace impermanence, practice mindfulness, and cultivate compassion. These simple yet profound teachings can help you break free from the constant swirl of thoughts and reclaim your inner peace. With these tools, you no longer have to feel overwhelmed by life's challenges. You have the power to face each day with a calm, centered mind, one that can navigate life's ups and downs with grace and clarity. Conclusion: the path to true freedom. The path to freedom from mental chaos is simpler than it seems. With just a little mindfulness and a willingness to embrace the teachings of Buddhist wisdom, you can create a life filled with peace, clarity, and joy. It's time to let go of the stress and overwhelm that have been weighing you down for so long. The tools for transformation are already within your reach. Are you ready to take that first step? The path is waiting, and with each mindful breath, you're one step closer to the peace you've been longing for. Let Buddhist wisdom be your guide. The freedom from mental chaos is yours for the taking. Number 3. The power of now, embracing the present moment. Picture this. You're sitting in a quiet room, not thinking about your to-do list, not stressing about what's coming tomorrow, not regretting what happened yesterday. Instead, you are completely immersed in the present moment. Your mind is calm, your heart at ease, and you can truly feel your life unfolding as it should. Doesn't that sound wonderful? But if you're anything like most people, you probably find it hard to live in the moment. In fact, you may feel as though you're constantly battling the past and the future. The problem is that the present moment, this moment, is where all of life truly exists. Everything you've worked for, everything you've hoped to achieve, is only truly accessible right here, right now. If you're 40, 50, 60, or even 70 years old, you've spent a lifetime chasing after things, and yet, perhaps it's time to realize that the true treasure isn't in some distant future or long gone past. It's in this moment. In today's world, especially for those of us who have lived through decades of both triumphs and struggles, it's easy to forget that the only moment we truly control is the one we're living in. It's time to change that. Let's talk about the power of now. Act 1. The struggle of constantly looking forward or backward. For many of us, especially as we age, the mind tends to focus on either the past or the future. We relive old mistakes, wondering what we could have done differently. We worry about what's coming ahead, health concerns, financial worries, the future of our children or grandchildren. But when was the last time you truly allowed yourself to be in the present? Think about it. When was the last time you truly felt alive, without the weight of your worries or past regrets hanging over you? If you're like most people, the answer is probably not often enough. It's natural to think about the past. After all, it's shaped who we are today. But when we constantly dwell on it, we miss the richness of life happening right now. The same goes for the future. We often spend so much energy planning, forecasting, and worrying that we forget to experience the beauty of the present moment. And here's the reality. The past is already gone, and the future isn't guaranteed. The only place where we can truly live is right now. The power of now, a concept popularized by Eckhart Tolle, teaches us that the only way to truly live fully is to embrace the present, no matter what age we are. In this moment, we have the potential to unlock a sense of peace, happiness, and abundance. Act 2. The present moment is where transformation happens. So why is the present moment so important? Because it's where transformation happens. Whether it's a shift in your mindset, a breakthrough in your health, or the creation of new wealth, all of these occur when you're fully present. Here's the thing. No major change happens when you're lost in thoughts about the past or anxiously anticipating the future. The most significant changes happen when you're able to step back, clear your mind, and engage fully with the task at hand, with the person in front of you, or with the opportunity that's right before you. When we live in the present, we become more mindful of our actions and decisions. If you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, you've likely built up a wealth of life experience. But how often do you truly listen to your gut or make decisions based on the moment, rather than from past fears or future anxieties? The key to living a fulfilled life is realizing that the present moment is all you can control, and it's in this moment that you have the power to shift everything. By embracing the power of now, you can break free from the chains of overthinking and truly unlock the full potential of your life. Act 3. The urgency of embracing the present now. Here's the real kicker. Time is moving forward whether we embrace the present moment or not. Every day that goes by is a day we'll never get back. This truth becomes even more urgent as we age. If you're in your 50s or 60s, you may start to feel that time is slipping away, and it's easy to get caught up in the idea that it's too late to make big changes. But let me tell you this, it's never too late. The present moment is always available to you. The key is making the choice to embrace it. You can choose to live in the past, replaying old regrets, or you can choose to step into the present moment, taking full advantage of the opportunities and the peace that lie here. The longer you put off living in the now, the more time you waste on things that don't serve you. There is an urgency in realizing that today is the day to embrace the present. Your peace, your success, and your happiness are waiting for you, but you have to choose to step into them. If you want to feel more in control, more at peace, and more connected to the life you've built, now is the time to make the change. Cliffhanger. But how do you actually step into the present moment when your mind is constantly racing, pulled in 100 different directions? Is there a way to quiet the mental noise and truly experience life right now? The answer might surprise you, and I'll share exactly how to do it in just a moment. Transition. Finding the freedom of the now. The first step to embracing the power of now is to simply become aware of where your mind is. When you catch yourself ruminating over the past or stressing about the future, pause. Take a deep breath. It's like hitting the reset button for your mind. The simple act of stopping, of being fully aware that you are not in the present moment, is a powerful tool. This practice is the first step in what's known as mindfulness. Mindfulness isn't about forcing your thoughts to stop, but about noticing them without judgment and then bringing yourself back to the present. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to stay in the now. Over time, you begin to train your mind to stop chasing after things that don't serve you, and instead you start living with greater clarity, peace, and joy. The role of meditation. Meditation is another powerful practice that allows you to step into the present moment. You don't need to meditate for hours a day. Even just 10 to 15 minutes can make a world of difference. The key is to focus on your breath, to gently bring your awareness to the present moment, and to simply observe whatever comes up in your mind without getting caught up in it. Meditation teaches us how to become more present in everyday life. Once you learn to quiet your mind for just a few minutes each day, you'll start to notice that those few minutes of calm can extend into other parts of your life. Whether you're at work, spending time with family, or managing your finances, you'll be more aware and engaged with what's happening now, releasing the burden of regret and worry. One of the greatest gifts of living in the present is the ability to release the heavy burdens of regret and worry. If you've spent years regretting past mistakes or worrying about the future, you're likely carrying around unnecessary emotional weight. The past is gone, and the future hasn't arrived yet. The only thing you can truly control is what you do right now. This isn't about ignoring past lessons or future goals. It's about putting your energy where it matters most, but in the present moment. When you stop dwelling on what's already been or what's yet to come, you free up your mind to focus on what you can actually change today, living with purpose and joy. When you embrace the present moment, something incredible happens. You start to live with more purpose. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by life's demands, you begin to approach each task, each interaction, with intention. And when you do this, your life starts to feel richer. You start noticing the little things, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the smile of a loved one, the joy of a peaceful moment. These are the moments that truly make life beautiful. By focusing on the now, you open yourself up to a life filled with more joy, more gratitude, and more peace. And believe me, once you begin living in the now, the world around you will start to shift as well. Conclusion: step into the power of now. Here's the truth. Life is happening right now. Your future self will thank you for the decision you make today. If you've spent years waiting for the perfect moment, I'm here to tell you that the perfect moment is now. By embracing the present, you give yourself the freedom to create the life you've always dreamed of. Peace, clarity, and happiness are not distant goals. They are available to you in this very moment. So, are you ready to step into the power of now? The only question left is, what will you do right now to begin living with purpose, peace, and joy? The time is now. Number 4. Letting go. How to release the grip of overthinking. Do you ever feel like your mind is a constant storm of thoughts, swirling around so fast that you can't even catch your breath? Your mind races from one what if to the next, and before you know it, hours have passed and you're no closer to a solution than when you first started. Overthinking is a silent thief. It steals your time, energy, and peace of mind, leaving you feeling drained and stuck. And if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, you've probably experienced enough of life's challenges to know that overthinking can paralyze you from moving forward. But here's the truth. Overthinking doesn't have to be your reality. You have the power to let go. By learning how to release the grip of overthinking, you can free yourself from its suffocating hold and reclaim your inner peace. It's time to stop spiraling and start living. Let's dive into how you can break free from the cycle of overthinking, once and for all. Act 1. The cost of overthinking. Overthinking can feel like a never-ending loop, one thought leading to another, to another, to another. It's exhausting. And the longer you stay caught in this cycle, the harder it becomes to break free. If you're in your 50s or 60s, maybe you've seen how overthinking can affect not only your mental health, but also your physical well-being. Stress, anxiety, and worry are direct byproducts of a mind that's constantly churning. What you might not realize is that overthinking can also prevent you from achieving the life you truly want. You become so focused on analyzing every detail that you lose sight of the bigger picture. Whether it's a decision about your career, your finances, or even your relationships, overthinking clouds your judgment and makes it difficult to move forward with confidence. And here's the kicker. The things you're overthinking about are often not even real. How many times have you found yourself ruminating over a problem that hasn't even happened yet? How many times have you played out hypothetical scenarios in your head, only to find that they never materialized? The real cost of overthinking is the precious time and energy it robs from you. Time that could be spent actually solving problems, taking action, and living a fulfilled life. Act 2. The fear behind overthinking. But why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we let our minds run wild with worry and doubt, even when we know it's getting us nowhere? The answer lies in fear. Overthinking is often a coping mechanism for uncertainty. As we get older, the stakes feel higher. In your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you've likely faced significant life decisions, from managing your finances, dealing with health issues, to planning for retirement. The fear of making the wrong choice can trigger an endless cycle of thoughts, questioning every possibility, every option, until you're paralyzed by indecision. This fear of making a mistake or of not having all the answers can leave you stuck in a loop, never feeling truly confident enough to move forward. But here's the key to breaking free. It's not about eliminating fear altogether. It's about learning to let go of the grip that fear has on your mind. The first step is recognizing that not every thought needs to be given weight. The second step is learning to trust yourself. You've made it this far in life, and you've made tough decisions before. You don't need to have every detail figured out before taking the next step. Act 3. The power of letting go. So how do you break free from the grip of overthinking? The answer lies in the power of letting go. It might sound simple, but letting go of overthinking requires practice. The first step in letting go is recognizing when you're stuck in a cycle of rumination. When you catch yourself obsessing over a thought or a decision, stop. Literally, take a pause and ask yourself, is this thought serving me right now? Is this helping me move forward? More often than not, the answer will be no. This is where the art of surrender comes in. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring or stop making decisions. It means releasing the need to control every outcome and allowing yourself the freedom to just be. The more you practice letting go, the more you'll realize that overthinking doesn't serve you. You have the ability to make decisions, take action, and then let go of the need to predict every possible result. It's in this release that true peace and clarity emerge. But the process takes time and requires consistency. Cliffhanger. But how do you really let go of those thoughts that just won't quit? What strategies can you use in the heat of the moment to quiet your mind and stop the cycle of overthinking? The good news is that there are proven techniques to help you manage your mind, and I'm going to share them with you in just a moment. Transition. Practical tools for letting go. Now that you understand the importance of letting go, let's talk about the practical steps you can take to begin this process. The first and most effective tool is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of staying present and aware of your thoughts, without judgment. It allows you to observe your thoughts as they arise, without getting caught up in them. When you're mindful, you create space between you and your thoughts, giving yourself the opportunity to choose whether or not you want to engage with them. When a thought arises that you'd typically overthink, take a moment to observe it without getting emotionally attached to it. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Can I let it go and move on? With practice, this becomes second nature. The key here is to practice this technique consistently, especially when your mind is prone to overthinking. You don't have to engage with every thought that arises. You can let them go. The power of breathing. Another tool for releasing overthinking is the simple practice of deep breathing. Overthinking often causes our bodies to enter a state of heightened stress, which only fuels the mental chaos. By focusing on your breath, you can calm your nervous system and clear your mind. Try this. Inhale deeply for a count of 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for a count of 4. Do this for a few minutes, and you'll start to feel your body relax and your mind quiet. This simple practice can be done anywhere, anytime, and is a powerful way to stop the cycle of overthinking in its tracks. When you focus on your breath, you bring your awareness back to the present moment, and in doing so, you release the grip of overthinking. The practice of acceptance. Letting go also involves accepting that not every answer will come immediately. Sometimes we feel the need to have everything figured out, but life doesn't always work that way. The practice of acceptance is about surrendering to the fact that some things are out of our control. Instead of overthinking every possible outcome, practice accepting uncertainty. This doesn't mean giving up on your goals or desires. It simply means recognizing that you don't need to have all the answers right now. Trust that in time, clarity will come. By accepting that not everything needs to be decided or understood at once, You free yourself from the pressure of constantly needing to be in control. Releasing the past and future. Finally, one of the most powerful aspects of letting go is releasing your attachment to the past and the future. Overthinking is often rooted in regrets about past decisions or fears about future outcomes. However, you cannot change the past, and the future hasn't arrived yet. The only thing you have control over is the present moment. By consciously choosing to release your attachment to past mistakes or future anxieties, you make space for clarity and peace. When you live in the present, you can make decisions from a place of calm, without the burden of past regrets or future worries clouding your judgment. Conclusion. Embrace the freedom of letting go. Letting go of overthinking is not a one-time event. It's a journey. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes to release the grip of overthinking and embrace a life of peace, clarity, and confidence. By using tools like mindfulness, deep breathing, acceptance, and releasing attachment, you can free yourself from the mental clutter that has held you back for so long. You've spent enough time in the grip of overthinking. Now it's time to let go and step into a life of calm, purpose, and joy. The world is waiting for you, and the moment to let go is now. So what will you choose today? Will you continue to let your mind control you, or will you take the first step toward freedom? The choice is yours. Number 5. Thoughts are like clouds, observing without clinging. Have you ever found yourself trapped in your own mind, consumed by a stream of endless thoughts? It's as though your brain is a storm, with each thought rolling in like a dark cloud, blocking out your peace. The more you focus on these thoughts, the more intense they seem to become. But what if I told you that your thoughts, just like clouds, are fleeting? And just like clouds, they can drift away if you stop clinging to them. This may sound simple, but the practice of observing your thoughts without attachment is a powerful tool for anyone who seeks peace, especially those of us in our 40s, 50s, and 60s who have lived through decades of challenges and triumphs. Imagine living your life without letting your thoughts control you, instead letting them come and go as effortlessly as clouds floating across the sky. The truth is, you have the power to observe without clinging. It's time to stop being at the mercy of your mind and start living with clarity and calm. Act 1. The nature of thoughts. Let's start by exploring what thoughts actually are. We often think of thoughts as permanent or fixed, but in reality, they are like clouds in the sky, ever-changing and temporary. Thoughts come and go, like waves crashing on the shore. Some are light and fluffy, while others are heavy and stormy. Yet, no matter how intense or persistent a thought may feel, it's only passing through. When you recognize this, it becomes easier to understand that you don't have to attach to every thought that crosses your mind. This is especially powerful as we grow older. With age often comes a lifetime of mental clutter, accumulated worries, and unresolved emotions. And yet these thoughts don't define us. Just because a thought arises doesn't mean it has to take root in your life. The key is learning to observe your thoughts without attaching judgment, fear, or even hope to them. If you've spent decades wrestling with thoughts, you know that attaching to them only leads to mental suffering. But what if you could learn to observe them, acknowledge them, and let them drift away? Act 2. The clinging that creates suffering now. Let's talk about what happens when we cling to our thoughts. We've all been there, right? A thought comes up. Maybe it's about something you regret from your past or a fear about the future, and you grab hold of it like it's the most important thing in the world. You turn it over and over in your mind, feeding it with more emotion, more analysis, more fear. You replay the scenario in your head as if that will somehow change the outcome. But what does this really do? It deepens the sense of suffering. The more you cling to a thought, the more you allow it to control you. Instead of being a fleeting cloud, it becomes a storm that takes over your mind, distorting your reality and preventing you from experiencing peace in the present. This is what we do when we get lost in our thoughts. We believe them to be truths, when in fact they are just passing mental events. In fact, the more we hold on to them, the more we magnify them, creating unnecessary anxiety and stress. If you've spent years in this cycle, you know that overthinking doesn't bring resolution. It only brings more confusion. But what if you could break free from this cycle and simply let the thought float by, like a cloud drifting across the sky? Act 3. The power of observation. The practice of observing your thoughts without clinging is one of the most liberating tools you can embrace. This is where the real magic happens. When you begin to see your thoughts as clouds passing through the sky, you create space between yourself and your mind. Instead of being swept away by each thought, you become the observer, calmly watching as thoughts come and go. Imagine standing at the edge of a peaceful lake, watching ripples form and then fade. The water doesn't resist the ripples, it simply allows them to come and go. In the same way, you can allow your thoughts to appear and dissolve without getting caught up in them. The key here is mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, you become aware of your thoughts as they arise without getting emotionally attached to them. You can say to yourself, there's that thought again, and then let it pass without judgment. Over time, you'll realize that thoughts don't control you. You are the one who decides how much power they have. It's a simple shift in perspective, but it's a shift that can change your entire life. Cliffhanger. But how do you actually make this shift? How do you start observing your thoughts instead of clinging to them? And what happens when you begin to release the grip of those thoughts? In just a moment, I'll share practical techniques that will help you harness the power of observation and transform the way you engage with your mind. Transition. Simple practices to observe without clinging. So how do we begin to implement this practice of observing our thoughts without clinging? It starts with awareness. The first step is simply noticing when you're lost in thought. You'll know this because you'll feel yourself becoming tense, anxious, or overwhelmed. The moment you realize that you're caught up in a thought pattern, stop. Take a breath. Step back. Imagine yourself as the sky, vast and open, and your thoughts as clouds passing through. Instead of chasing after them, just watch them. This doesn't mean you suppress your thoughts, nor does it mean you act like they don't exist. It's about letting them come and go without holding on to them. By observing your thoughts in this way, you train your mind to be less reactive and more peaceful. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to step back and observe instead of react. The role of meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool in this practice of observing without clinging. You don't need to meditate for hours on end, but even 5 or 10 minutes a day can make a difference. The key is to sit quietly, focus on your breath, and allow any thoughts that come up to float by like clouds. As you meditate, you'll notice that your mind starts to settle. Thoughts may come in waves, but instead of getting swept up in them, you learn to watch them pass. Over time, this practice will spill over into your daily life. You'll find yourself more present in your interactions, less weighed down by the noise in your mind. And the more you practice, the more you'll see that you don't have to attach to every thought. You can simply let them go. In the process, you'll discover an incredible sense of peace and freedom. Releasing attachment to thoughts. The act of releasing attachment to thoughts isn't about ignoring them. It's about recognizing that thoughts are temporary and not necessarily truths. They are like clouds in the sky. They pass through, and they don't define you. Often we become attached to our thoughts because we believe they are a reflection of who we are. If you think negatively about yourself, you might start to believe that those thoughts define your self-worth. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. By recognizing this, you can start to let go of the grip that thoughts have on your identity. Just because a thought pops into your head doesn't mean it's something you need to act on or attach to. Thoughts are fleeting and they don't last forever. When you let go of the need to cling to them, you create space for peace and clarity to enter your life. Releasing judgment and guilt. One of the biggest obstacles to letting go of overthinking is the tendency to judge ourselves for having certain thoughts. You might catch yourself thinking, "Why am I thinking this way?" Or, "I shouldn't be thinking this at all." This judgment only strengthens the hold of the thought because it adds more fuel to the fire. Instead, try observing your thoughts with curiosity rather than judgment. When a thought arises, simply notice it. "Oh, I'm thinking about that again," you might say to yourself, and then let it go. Don't judge yourself for thinking it. Just observe it and move on. This shift in mindset allows you to free yourself from the grip of negative thinking and overthinking. Living a peaceful life. The beauty of observing your thoughts without clinging is that it opens up space for inner peace. When you let go of your attachment to thoughts, you make room for peace to enter your mind and heart. No longer are you a prisoner to the constant noise in your head. Instead, you are free to live with greater clarity and joy. Life becomes lighter because you are no longer weighed down by the burden of overthinking. Whether it's dealing with your relationships, your finances, or your health, you'll find that you can face life's challenges with a calm, centered mind. The peace that you cultivate through this practice will ripple out into every area of your life, creating a sense of ease and contentment that was once elusive. Conclusion: the power of observation. Remember, thoughts are like clouds. They are temporary, ever-changing, and not a reflection of who you truly are. By learning to observe your thoughts without clinging to them, you free yourself from the cycle of overthinking and mental chaos. You don't need to fight your thoughts. You just need to observe them and let them pass. With practice, you'll find that your mind becomes more peaceful and your life becomes lighter. The clouds will come and go, but your true essence, the vast, open sky, remains unchanged. Are you ready to start observing your thoughts without clinging? The peace you've been searching for is already within you. It's time to let go. Number 6. Mindfulness, anchoring yourself in the breath. Do you ever feel like life is rushing by and you're just holding on for the ride? The weight of responsibilities, the constant demands of work, family, and health, they all pull at you, leaving your mind scattered and your energy depleted. In times like these, it's easy to lose yourself in the chaos, but there's a powerful tool you can use to ground yourself: your breath. That's right. The very thing you carry with you all day, every day, is your anchor. Mindfulness, the simple yet profound practice of focusing on the present moment, can be your way to reclaim your peace, especially if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s and have experienced the mental and emotional burdens of life. The beauty of mindfulness is that it's accessible, it's always with you, and it can transform your life in ways you never imagined. Imagine taking a pause in the middle of your busiest day and reconnecting with a sense of calm,